You know that old saying, every day, a hustler and a sucker leave their homes, and when they meet, business gets done. Well, not every time the hustler wins. Sometimes the tables turn and the con artist ends up being the fool. Today we're going to look at real-life scammers who got caught red-handed right in the middle of their schemes. So before we jump in, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and roll the intro. One of the most common scams in some countries is when someone throws themselves in front of a moving car, pretending to be hit so they can demand compensation. In China, one woman decided to try this old trick, but she picked the wrong target. A driver was cruising along when he saw the woman running straight toward his vehicle. He slowed down immediately, and that's when she suddenly dropped to the ground in front of him, clutching herself like she'd been injured. But the driver noticed something about her performance that didn't quite add up. Instead of lying there groaning, she actually got back up, walked over to his hood, and started hitting his car in broad daylight like it was part of her act. What she didn't realize was that the whole thing was being recorded by his dash cam. Passers-by, and even a security guard, started watching her over-the-top performance. When it became obvious that her story wasn't going to stick, she gave up and walked away. Scam failed and reputation destroyed. It's bad enough when someone tries to scam you, but when the scammer is a police officer, the very person who's supposed to protect you, that's another level. In 2023, Dutch motorcycle travel vlogger Itchy Boots was riding across Nigeria on one of her epic journeys. While taking a rural road, she was stopped by two local police officers. At first, they seemed friendly, even welcoming, but the facade didn't last.
Everything is fine.
Family.
Huh?
Oh, it's family.
Good.
Family is good.
The police pull her over and at first pretend to be friendly. They're shocked to see a woman riding a motorcycle in this area, but their fake friendliness soon disappears as the police begin to openly extort the woman for money.
Oh yeah, give me something. Oh yeah, give me something. Give me something. Give me money. Money. Money.
Money. Why?
They quickly started asking her for money the moment they realized she was a foreign tourist. She tried to understand the reason, but when she refused to pay, they reluctantly let her continue. What they didn't know was that she was filming the whole thing from multiple angles. The footage hit YouTube and went viral, painting an ugly picture of corruption in a country that already struggles with its reputation. Within days, the officers were identified, arrested, and publicly fired to set an example. Some people are so committed to a life of crime, they even set up classes to teach others. In Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, 4 women were attending what could only be described as a scam university, being trained by experienced con artists on how to trick victims over the phone. During their practical training, the students did so well that they managed to swindle around 300,000 reais, about $60,000 from their victims. The plan was to split the cash with their mentors, but greed got in the way. The instructors decided to keep all the money for themselves. The students didn't take it lightly. Furious about being conned inside their own con, they hired local militia members to kidnap their mentors and force them to return the money. It sounds like a plot from a movie, but it happened for real, and in the end, everyone involved ended up in jail. For years, a Brazilian government worker in Juiz de Fora, Minas Gerais, lived a quiet public service life, but behind the scenes, he wasn't who he claimed to be. Lucas had secured his position by applying under affirmative action quotas reserved for black candidates. The problem? He wasn't black. To fool the hiring committee, he darkened his skin with some kind of dye, wore contact lenses, and even altered his photo to appear to have African features. The disguise worked for a while, but an anonymous tip brought the federal police into the case. Comparing his official documents quickly exposed the fraud.
It's that he used a paint to color his skin, to make his skin dark, to pass as black.
When summoned to the police station, Lucas had the audacity to try to maintain his fake skin tone, but the game was over. He was fired from his job and charged with identity fraud for taking a position meant for someone who actually qualified under the program. Imagine someone trying to sell you something that you already own. That's exactly what happened to one businessman approached by a broker offering him a piece of land, his own land. The scam started with forged documents and tampered official records. The group assumed legal control, on paper, of a company that owned a property worth 3.5 million rays, around $700,000. Once they had the fake paperwork ready, they started marketing the lot. Their bad luck, one of their first potential buyers was the actual owner, who played along and set up a meeting, inviting the police to join in.
I offered the lot, saw it was mine. I realized it had a problem and started negotiating my own lot to understand the size of the...
The meeting was caught on camera, one scammer posing as a legal representative, the other ready to receive the payment. But instead of cash, they got handcuffs. They tried to sell land to its rightful owner and ended up with a one-way trip to jail. In Guarulhos, Sao Paulo, Brazil, a woman listed her electric unicycle for sale online for 1,500 reais, around $300. A buyer quickly appeared, negotiating the deal and sending an Uber Flash driver to pick up the item. But after collecting it, he vanished without paying. When she realized she'd been scammed, she decided to turn the tables. She posted a fake ad for a smartphone, targeting the same scammer. Sure enough, he bit. He sent another driver to collect the phone, but this time, instead of a package, the car delivered police officers straight to him. He was arrested on the spot. With no prior record, he probably thought he was untouchable. But that's the thing about playing games with people. Sometimes they know the rules better than you do. Picture this, someone shows up at your door with flowers, chocolates, or a special gift. But instead of a surprise, it's a scam. In Greater Sao Paulo, victims would receive a call arranging for a flower delivery for their birthday. The fake courier would arrive, explaining there was a small delivery fee to be paid by card. Once the victim swiped, the scammers would charge far more than they admitted, sometimes thousands of reais. After a tip-off, police set up a sting operation. While one fake delivery guy was working his magic, officers swooped in and arrested him, but he wasn't alone. Later that day, another fake courier showed up, this one carrying chocolates, ready to repeat the scheme. He was also caught red-handed, both had prior records, and one was already being investigated for a similar scam where a victim lost 3,000 reais, about $600, over a mystery gift. In Manaus, capital of Amazonas, Brazil, a clandestine medical practice was operating inside a legitimate hospital, and the doctor wasn't who she said she was.
I only graduated in physical education. My other degree is in medicine, which I master physical education. I don't master, no. I just graduated and left. Medicine is my strength.
Sofia Almeida, 30, claimed to be a fitness instructor on paper, but on social media, she flaunted a medical degree. She treated children with heart conditions, autistic patients, and even pregnant women, all while using the credentials of a real doctor with a similar name. Her cover fell apart one Monday when police found her at the gym, mid-workout, and arrested her on the spot. They seized her lab coat, medical instruments, and forged certificates. Sofia had managed to infiltrate post-grad courses, fool professionals, give interviews as a doctor, host a podcast, and may have even participated in childbirths. Now she faces a list of charges that could land her more than 12 years in prison. The ad was tempting, a brand new MacBook for way below market price. The seller claimed to be a family man in need of quick cash, but dig a little deeper and the story fell apart.
It's not stolen, it's all good provenance. But I don't have a receipt. Without a receipt, we can't tax the golfer. That's why it's much cheaper, you understand, Can?
He used the old secret stock trick, saying he worked in shops in Sao Paulo's 25 de Marco shopping district. He'd arranged to meet in a mall for safety, asking buyers to bring cash, but the stockroom didn't exist. It was all fiction. What he didn't expect was that his next customer was an undercover producer working with police. At the meeting, he took 3,500 reais, about $700, and tried to sneak out through another exit, but was surrounded and arrested on the spot. In Curitiba, Brazil, a man tried to pull off a scam in a bank using a fake ID. The plan was simple: pretend to be the account holder, reset the password, and access online banking. But the bank had already flagged suspicious attempts days earlier, so when he showed up, police were waiting. The arresting officer, the head of the fraud division himself. The scammer didn't go quietly. He resisted until the officer locked him in a jiu-jitsu armbar and pinned him down. Once in custody, they confirmed he was using a forged ID with an ambiguous name to exploit a reading error. He picked the wrong target. In Brazil's federal district, 3 business owners were arrested for scamming buyers with fake vehicle financing deals. They'd post cars on a popular used goods app asking for down payments of up to 990 reais, around $200, to approve the credit, or an advance of 2,000 reais, about $400. But once paid, the financing never happened. If pressed, they'd make partial refunds to keep buyers from reporting them. Their front companies operated with everyone in on the scheme, including employees who are now also under investigation to determine how much they knew.